The river Scheldt wound languidly from northern France through Belgium, taking a sharp westward turn at the port of Antwerp, where it became deep and wide enough to accommodate ocean-going ships. On this cloudless summer morning, more than 20,000 people flocked along the city's riverfront to salute the departure of the Belgica and exult in its glory. Freshly painted steel gray, the 113-foot-long, three-masted steam whaler fitted with a coal-powered engine was headed to Antarctica to chart its unknown coasts and collect data on its flora, fauna, and geology. But what drew the crowds today was not the promise of scientific discovery so much as national pride. Belgium. Little Belgium, a country that had declared its independence from Holland 67 years earlier and was thus younger than many of its citizens, was staking a claim to the next frontier of human exploration. At 10 o'clock, the vessel weighed anchor and sailed at a regal pace in the direction of the North Sea, so freighted with coal, provisions, and equipment that her deck floated just a foot and a half above the water. Escorted by a flotilla of yachts that carried government officials, well-wishers, and press, the Belgica paraded before the city. She glided past the flag-bedecked townhouses lining the waterfront, past the flamboyant Gothic cathedral that dominated the skyline, past Hetstein, the fortress that had loomed over the river since the Middle Ages. From a pontoon, a military band played La Brabançonne, Belgium's national anthem, a theme as grand as the country was small. Cannons fired in tribute from both banks of the river. Vessels from around the world blew their foghorns and hoisted Belgium's black, yellow, and red flag. Cheers rippled across the crowd as the Belgica sailed by. The entire town seemed to vibrate. Gazing back at this roiling sea of banners and hats and handkerchiefs from the bridge of the ship was the expedition's commandant, 31-year-old Adrien de Gerlache de Gomery. His face betrayed little emotion, but behind his heavy-lidded eyes he burned with excitement. Every detail of his appearance had been meticulously attended to in preparation for this moment, down to the twist of his mustache, the crop of his beard, and the knot of his cravat. De Gerlache's dark, double-breasted greatcoat was too warm for this August morning, and not nearly warm enough for the frigid ends of the earth, but it lent him a dashing air befitting a man in the process of making history. Now and again, basking in the acclamation, he pulled off his Belgica emblazoned cap by its patent leather brim and waved it at the jubilant multitude. He had long hungered for these cheers. The starting point felt to him like the finish line. "My state of mind," he wrote, "was that of a man who has just reached his goal." In a way, he had. That the ship was leaving at all was a personal triumph. Despite the heartfelt patriotism on display this morning, the Belgian Antarctic expedition was less a national endeavor than the manifestation of Adrien de Gerlache's steadfast will. He had spent more than 3 years planning, staffing, and raising funds for the journey. His determination alone had won over skeptics, loosened purse strings, and rallied a nation behind him. Now, though he remained 10,000 miles from his destination, he was already enjoying a taste of glory. But on this euphoric day, with his countrymen hip-hip-hooray-ing him, it was easy for de Gerlache to forget that this glory was on credit. To earn it, he would have to survive one of the most hostile environments on Earth, a continent so inimical to human life that no man had yet spent more than a few hours on its shores. Belgium's border with Holland stretched across the Scheldt, a dozen miles northwest of Antwerp. Before crossing it, the Belgica docked at Liefkenshoek Quay to attend to one last order of business. Even as the merriment continued on deck and aboard the yachts that swarmed around the vessel, The crew shuttled between the quay and the Belgica's hold in order to load a half-ton of tonite, an explosive believed to be more powerful than dynamite.